Pretty, isn't it? Now, I am extremely sorry to be interrupting such a beautiful sight, but I have to take a moment to introduce this gorgeous motorcycle to you. Now, most Ducatis are extremely good looking, and in that respect, this is no different. But you have to agree, there is something more to it than just that. Now, from the previous generation model, it has gotten added electronics and a few design updates as well. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to the Ducati SuperSport 950S. Let's get the important facts out of the way first. The biggest change comes in the form of design. Starting with the new fairing and headlights up front, Ducati has done a stellar job at making the SuperSport's design more like its sibling, the Panigale, but without losing the overall essence and just copy-pasting. Moreover, the SuperSport's design is much more aerodynamic than before, with those fresh new air intakes next to the LED headlamps. Other than that, things pretty much remain the same as before. Now, all the things that you just heard are the facts, but surely there's more. And there is. For example, this Arctic white color, those two strips on the alloy wheels, and the fully adjustable Olin suspension is specific to the S model. In fact, this color alone costs an extra 20,000 rupees, and from where I'm standing, it's easy to see why. Now, all the design changes that I mentioned earlier are quite subtle, but you have to say it adds so much more to the SuperSport's character. In fact, I feel that this is a lot simpler than some of the bigger bikes that Ducati has in India, and that is a good thing. For example, I really like the fact that it has a conventional key. Some of the other bits I really appreciate is the premium switchgear, that 4.3-inch TFT display, and this well-contoured seat. But most important of all is that 937 liquid-cooled L-twin engine that produces 110 horsepower and 93 Nm of torque. But let's not just look at it, let's put it to the test. Although this is the same motor from the Multistrada and Hypermotard, it hasn't got the bump and power that the Monster just got recently. Nevertheless, the engine feels almost alive thanks to that typical L-twin firing order. It doesn't like staying below the 2000 RPM mark, but beyond it, it progresses with a distinctive raw feel. The acceleration is rather brisk, with the 3 riding modes making a significant difference in the nature of the power delivery. The 6-speed gearbox is a breeze to operate, and the SuperSport 950 even comes with a bi-directional quick shifter, which makes things a lot easier. The SuperSport 950 likes gliding into corners rather than attacking it, and the slightly relaxed riding position along with the very comfortable seat really add to the whole riding experience. The SuperSport genuinely feels like a very capable sports tourer, with even the ride comfort being pretty admirable for a bike with this kind of setup. However, the braking could have been a lot better. The bite just seems to come too late, especially at the rear. Other than that though, the performance is raw and satisfying, and this is a pretty fun motorcycle to ride. Now I know what you're thinking. This is a fully faired motorcycle, it's going to be uncomfortable to ride, but let me put your mind at ease. You see, the clip-on handlebars are not very committed, and the foot pegs are pretty neutrally set as well. In fact, if you do wish to go touring, Ducati have thought of you there as well, because the windscreen can be adjusted. However, there is one small problem that I did encounter, and that is the rear view mirrors, which are a little small and they vibrate quite a bit when you're on idle or even on the move. However, overall, a pretty good sports tourer. So first things first, the standard version of the SuperSport costs rupees 13.49 lakh rupees ex showroom, which puts it against the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX and the Aprilia RS 660. But let's put all of that aside for a second. You see, a lot of people refer to this as a more accessible Panigale V2 or a fancier version of the Monster. But in my opinion, it's so much more. It has a soul of its own. In fact, it feels like the White Knight from Ducati's range in India, one that's forgiving and virtuous. one that will stand by your side in hard times and not be a burden. To put it simply, it puts the super back in sports touring, and it does all of that while looking simply captivating.